Welcome to Pennsylvania, where battlefields still echo with ghostly footsteps, and curses don't just linger, they claw their way into the present.
Tourism slogan missed that one. From the blood-soaked soil of Gettysburg to the cursed woods of Hex Hollow and the prison halls that never quite emptied.
We're picking up on some seriously haunted signals tonight.
This week on the Afterlife Hotline, we're answering calls from the Keystone State, where every shadow has a story, and some doors were never meant to be opened. Let's get spooky. Welcome back to the Afterlife Hotline. Welcome to the Afterlife Hotline.
Hello.
If you're new. I am Ashley,
I am Denisha.
and we're glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about Pennsylvania, paranormal Pennsylvania,
The Keystone State.
the Keystone State. I'm excited because one of these places that we're talking about, we're hopefully going to be visiting next year.
Yes. I was like, which place? Because I was thinking of the two that you have, and I'm like, which? Oh,
Light bulb.
it's been a long day. It's been a long week. Menti B check-in. How is y'all's week going? Ours was interesting.
I'm just glad I'm medicated. That's all I have to say.
Feel all the feels.
Yeah.
Remember, own your Sigma
Yeah.
ghost line.
Plug in. If you want some mental health merch,
Ownyourstigma.com.
yes, and use code GHOSTLINE.
For 10% off? 15% off? A percent off.
It's one of those two. We'll pop it up on the screen. I can't remember, but it's comfy and it's great. And
They're very
you should-
soft material.
You should buy it. It has hats and cups and shirts and sweaters and
Hoodies and-
hoodies, all the fun stuff. Fall's
Lions
coming
and
up. You're going
tigers
to need
and
some hoodies and
bears.
sweaters.
Oh my.
Nestled in Adams County, Gettysburg is a modest borough of just over 7,000 residents. Yet its fields, hills, and brick-lined streets have witnessed events so profound that their echoes still seem to linger in the air. In the sweltering summer of 1863, this quiet town became the stage for the Battle of Gettysburg. 3 days of unimaginable violence from July 1st through the 3rd. Over 50,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing. Union forces under General George Meade pushed back General Robert E. Lee's Confederate Army in what would become the turning point of the Civil War. The final day brought Pickett's charge, a desperate Confederate assault across open ground towards Cemetery Ridge, met by relentless Union fire that turned ambition into tragedy. Just months later, President Abraham Lincoln arrived to dedicate the Gettysburg National Cemetery, where his Gettysburg Address redefined the meaning of the war in just 271 words. But for many, Gettysburg's story didn't end there. Locals and visitors alike say the battlefield never truly left these grounds. The Gettysburg National Military Park and surrounding town are considered one of the most haunted places in America. At Devil's Den, if you don't know, there's a Devil's Den in Arkansas, and some guy
Just committed homicide and is now true crime warning, I guess, and
Yeah.
is now under investigation for another one in Vermont.
of another person, and both people were unalived on trails. So
Let us know if you would like us to go into that topic.
yeah, it's been pretty interesting. But yeah, there's a Devil's Den in Pennsylvania near Gettysburg, and tourists report the smell of gunpowder, sudden drops in temperature, and phantom gunfire echoing through the rocks. Ghostly soldiers have been spotted wandering Little Round Top, their uniforms tattered, their faces pale and lost in another time. That's sad. Cemetery Hill is said to host spectral sentries, still keeping watch more than 160 years later. In nearby inns and historic homes, guests have awakened to see shadowy figures standing at the foot of their beds or marching silently down hallways. Even the streets of downtown have their share of wandering apparitions, men in blue and gray fading into the mist as quickly as they appear. Today, Gettysburg welcomes more than 2 million visitors each year. That's a lot. Some come for history, others for the thrill of encountering the past in ways books can't explain. Here, the line between the living and the dead feels unusually thin, as if the land itself is reluctant to let go of the souls who fell upon it. I am really excited to go to that because there's a lot of old videos where I really don't believe that people had tampered with them. I personally don't. I know nowadays, like, people like, oh, it's AI, or oh, someone messed with it. But if we were to see like an actual apparition of a ghost walking through, I don't know how I would react. I feel like I would get really emotional.
I wonder if you wouldn't notice it until you watched the footage of it.
Watch the footage back? Yeah, possibly. Possibly.
Because the cameras are going to be able to pick up more than we can to our naked eye.
Mm-hmm. The blue and gray, that reminded me, and I think I talked about it in another episode, I'm not sure. One of the girls I used to work with at Great Clips, she said on her way home on 89, it was raining, and she said that she passed a gentleman on the side of the road, and it looked like he was marching, and it looked like he was in an old-timey military uniform. And I told my dad about it because they live off of that road, and he was like, oh, it could have just been someone walking. I'm like, but it was pouring down rain. She said the guy didn't even look at her. The guy had like a
Well, and that's also like
face.
In the boonies.
Yeah, and like you don't know what happened on those grounds a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But she said he looked like he was in an old military uniform, like old military uniform. I do have one encounter story from it. I found it off of Reddit. It had been deleted, so I don't know the user for it. But they said, I originally posted this in the ghost subreddit, but I thought people here might like to hear it too. This really happened. Take my word for it if you wish. If not, that's fine too. As far back as I can remember, I've always enjoyed learning about history, including military history. As an early teen, my dad got me a copy of the Time Life's The Civil War, Gettysburg. I looked through it and read it constantly. I was particularly drawn to a photo of a deceased soldier pictured at Devil's Den. I never forgot it. Fast forward about 20 years, my wife and I decided to finally visit Gettysburg on Halloween for our wedding anniversary. That's interesting. My first stop had to be Devil's Den. Okay, so we're going to have to go to Devil's Den.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. The Gettysburg Military Park has tons of one-way little roads. The road towards Devil's Den had a few. We missed a turn or something and we got lost. It was approaching evening, but not dark. It was overcast with a little drizzle, and my wife and I were hungry, so we decided to come back tomorrow. Driving back into town, I pulled up to a deserted road that was also a four-way stop. This is where we saw it. Sitting at the stop sign, I automatically looked to make sure if it was clear to drive off. As I was about to pull away, I saw something to my left that was probably close enough to reach out and touch. There, floating mid-air, about torso height, was what looked like a cotton button shirt that I believe was dark gray. It was torn to pieces and fluttering violently as though hurricane winds were blowing. I don't remember sounds or smells, there was no blood, and I don't recall seeing any body parts. Just this shirt. My brain didn't or couldn't register what it was seeing. I looked at this apparition for about 10 seconds and drove off. A moment after that, I turned to my wife without saying a word. She was smiling at me and asked, "Did you see it?" Every word of this is true, and the event happened. There's no mistaking what my wife and I saw for anything other than what it was. So he just saw an apparition of one of the old military shirts, just chilling at torso height. No body, no pants, no nothing, just the shirt. That's interesting.
Wow.
That's Gettysburg, and I can't wait to go.
Samesies.
What you got for us?
The first one I have is kind of a double one because I wanted to combine them since clearly
whammy.
Clearly I have been talking a lot about penitentiaries and asylums, so of course I'm keeping that same energy. We're going to go deep into the heart of Pennsylvania, where two towering institutions still carry the weight of every soul that passed through their gates. Eastern State Penitentiary and Pennhurst Asylum. And for Eastern State, I have definitely talked about this before, I think in our second episode, actually.
Really? That might be why the name sounds familiar.
Probably. I think it was our second one because that was Paranormal Places and People. So I think that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll pop it up. You guys should go watch it.
And then Pennhurst, yeah.
And not judge us for
how we've changed.
Yeah.
We did a little rebrand. A lot of places claim to be haunted, but these, they don't feel like just a spooky gimmick. They feel like it's unfinished business. And the more I've learned about things, the more I've realized that these aren't just ghost stories. These are kind of like warnings, echoes of the past and memories carved into the stone. So we're going to start in Philly, where Eastern State Penitentiary rises like a fortress. It opened in 1829 and was one of the first true penitentiaries built to inspire penance through total isolation.
Also, that opened really early, 1829.
1829.
Good Lord.
Revolutionary, sure, but also soul crushing.
Yeah.
Prisoners lived in small stone cells with one skylight, their only connection to the outside world. They wore hoods when they were escorted, and speaking, even to guards, was forbidden. It was so psychologically damaging that even Charles Dickens, who visited in the 1800s, called it cruel and wrong.
Yeah, because it is.
I believe this is the one where it's like all the isolated halls and one center. Oh, because I think this is the one with the...
Was this with the dog?
Pep. I think this is Pep.
Pep has made his return. Oh my gosh.
Yes, this is Pep.
Ah!
So...
I love Pep.
I didn't include this in this one because I low-key kind of forgot. Pep was an actual inmate that was intaken at this prison, kind of for morale. If you want to learn more about that, you can go watch our previous video.
But it's so cute.
Fast forward to now, Eastern State is a massive ruin, open to the public, but not empty per se. Mm-hmm. Visitors report cold spots, ghostly voices, and figures that vanish down cell block corridors. Some hear whispering, and others say they felt someone standing right behind them, even when they were alone. No. And then there's Al Capone. During his sentence here, he was reportedly tormented by the ghost of James Clark, a victim of the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Capone was tough on the outside, but he was said to scream in the night and beg for forgiveness. If a mob boss is afraid of the dark, you know something's got to be going on.
Yeah.
And 45 minutes just outside of Philly, we're going to go to Pennhurst.
Okay.
If Eastern State was built for punishment, Pennhurst was built for care. But what happened inside was anything but compassionate. Pennhurst opened in 1908 as a state institution for people with physical and developmental disabilities. But overcrowding, as we see very often, and underfunding turned it into a horror story. Patients were restrained, neglected, and often abandoned by families in the system. It eventually became so infamous that it was shut down in the late 80s. And like Eastern State, Pennhurst never really emptied. People who visit the asylum say it is one of the most haunted places that they have ever been. Shadow figures are seen walking the halls, items move on their own, visitors hear voices, crying, shouting, or even whispering. But the real spine tingler here, the underground tunnels.
There's always tunnels.
Always. Originally used to transport patients, they now echo with growls, footfalls, and voices that seem to come from absolutely nowhere.
I don't like that.
One paranormal investigator said the air down there felt heavy, like you were being watched by something that didn't want you there.
No.
What strikes me about both of these places is the scariest thing isn't the ghosts, it's the truth that came before them. Mm-hmm. The pain was ignored, the humanity was stripped away. Whether it's the icy halls of Eastern State or the crumbling wards of Pennhurst, these buildings carry a kind of grief that you can still feel. And maybe that's why the spirits linger. Not to scare us, but to be seen. To remind us that they were here and what happened actually matters. So if you ever visit these places, listen closely. Not just for footsteps or whispers, but for the stories beneath the silence. Because sometimes the most haunted places are the ones that were meant to help us.
Oh, all of them were meant to help people and then they turned bad. You know, I watch watch and listen because I do both YouTube and podcast. They made a good point how they were talking to somebody else and they were saying how whenever they go on investigations, they go in there with respect and like boundaries towards like them, for not only for themselves but like for the ghosts and stuff, because they want to interact with them and have them tell them, like,
they tell their story.
It's more of like they're curious and they're wanting to have conversations with the afterlife versus it being like a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, turn on a light, or oh my God, do this, oh my God, do that. Like they're actually caring about the ghosts and the spirits and like what they've been through and stuff like that. So I feel like if we went to places like this, I'd be really sad because they, like, if they communicated and what all they would say and stuff.
I think that's the true difference between, you know, people who do it just for the shock value and then people that actually enjoy the history and love to learn and do respect whatever is left. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's just pent up residual energy or it's these emotions, whatever it is, the people who go into it with a sense of respect and boundaries, I feel like are the ones that, one, get the most interaction, but two, they're what keep the paranormal realm kind of alive, I feel like.
Yeah, because if I was a ghost and people were coming in and they were being assholes, I'd be like, I'm haunting your ass because rude, first of all. Second of all, get out of my house or wherever the heck I'm haunting.
Get out. You don't belong here.
No.
Don't put meatballs in the spaghetti.
Shit.
I just really wanted to eat my Snickers. Callbacks to previous episodes.
Go watch them. Go watch them. They're good. I promise they're good. They're good.
They're good after the rebrand.
But they're good. Quality wasn't quite there, but they were good. They were still good stories. But anywho, picture a thriving Pennsylvania mining town in the early 1960s.
I know what this is.
Yes, you do. And I'm so surprised you didn't do this
I honestly
one.
forgot about it.
Oh, how dare you?
I know.
Well, there's a bustling main street, homes filled with laughter, children playing, and coal trucks rolling by. Any guesses on what it is yet? That all changed in May of 1962 when town workers set fire to a landfill in a former strip mine pit. It wasn't the first time fires had burned here before, but this time they never fully extinguished. The flames sank into the ground, igniting a vast network of abandoned anthracite coal mines beneath the town. What started as a workforce convenience slowly became an inferno beneath the surface. Steam and smoke began seeping through the cracks in the streets and sidewalks. A gas station tank tested hot, far too hot for comfort. It's Centralia. Eventually, tests revealed dangerously high levels of carbon monoxide, evidence the fire had burrowed deep, spreading underground over hundreds of acres. Residents watched the landscape warp, streets buckled, sidewalks collapsed, and strange mist rose from the vents in the earth. The air smelt faintly of sulfur, and springs reported reached near boiling temperature following heavy rain, turning this into Pennsylvania's only natural geyser. By the 1980s, the state intervened. Buyouts, evictions, eminent domain, homes were bulldozed. The zip code was discontinued in 2002. By 2020, just 5 residents remained in Centralia from a population that once exceeded 2,700. I'm curious if the 5 people are still living in Centralia. Imagine living somewhere where a zip code doesn't even exist. That's interesting. But it's Centralia's eerie atmosphere that gives rise to its paranormal aura. Hissing fissures release cold steam and sulfurous fumes, but some insist they've seen shadowy figures drifting through the mist, footsteps echoing in the abandoned streets, or feeling watched by presences no longer tethered to earth. Urban explorers and locals recount glimpses of a lady in white gliding silently among crumbling foundations at dusk, one of the area's more persistent ghost lore tales. And the aesthetic itself is atmospheric horror. The decaying remnants of Route 61, dead trees, broken foundations, graffiti-scarred pavement. I would love to see it, but I'm pretty sure you can't anymore.
They covered it with dirt.
Assholes.
The whole street.
Wow. Oh, it's probably to deter people from coming out there.
Because I believe it's still on fire.
Yeah, it probably will forever be on
yeah.
fire. And of course, the steam rising from cracks feels like the breath of something living beneath an empty town. In many ways, Centralia is more than a ghost town. It's a place where the earth burns eternal, refusing to forget, where the boundaries beneath dead and destruction, silence and presence seem unnervingly thin.
We have now seen a mining town gone wrong. I'm going to take you through a walk in the woods of York County, Pennsylvania, where hidden gates, old stories, and nighttime whispers feed a legend so persistent it might leave you second-guessing your GPS.
I always second-guess my GPS.
I always second-guess everything. Mm-hmm. This is a tale of the 7 Gates of Hell, a haunting urban myth rooted in Hellam Township. Are we about to stroll through something beyond reality or just really well-written folklore? The legend says that there are 7 gates hidden in the woods off Trout Run Road, sometimes called Toad Road. Oh. During the day, only the first gate is visible. At night, the remaining 6 appear, as though it is lit by some cosmic invitation. And if you pass through all 7, according to the lore, you go straight to hell. There are 2 versions of the story that float around. The first one is that an insane asylum once stood here, burned down, and patients escaped but were hunted down by a search party who built the gates to trap them. And the second is a very eccentric doctor, or 2, built 7 gates as barriers on the property. Some suggest to keep people out, but many suggest to keep people in. The legend's got creepy details. Only the first gate can be seen during daylight, and the rest supposedly materialize at night, but no one is said to have passed beyond the fifth gate and returned. Ever.
Oh, God.
Tales mention shadow figures, distant screams, the smell of something burning. The sad truth is that there likely was no asylum, and Toad Road, even if it ever truly existed, was an older name replaced by Trout Run Road after Hurricane Agnes in 1972. The only historical figure tied to the story is Dr. Harold Belknap, who lived locally and had one gate mark on his property, but not 7.
Imagine being the person that started the whole entire lore.
Honestly. Hallam Township officials have explicitly denied the legend. The township name is actually traced back to Hallam, England, not the underworld.
Damn.
Despite the lack of proof.
That was not planned. That was not planned.
Legends be damned.
Anywho.
Despite the lack of proof, the Seven Gates legend inspired the indie horror film Toad Road, which released in 2012, and remains to be a go-to entry in books like Weird Pennsylvania and The Big Book of Pennsylvania Ghost Stories.
I'm going to have to see if I can find that movie now.
Experienced explorers and locals describe weird phone loss, sudden unease, and some even unclaim ghostly presences at night. But again, there have been no verifiable sightings past Gate 5. What I love about the Seven Gates story is that it's a walk between folklore, fear, and that feeling of walking into the unknown. Mm-hmm. It is a reminder that sometimes the scariest legends are the ones that we almost believe in, but just can't quite feel it completely. So before you ever chase down the gates in the woods, remember, at least one is clearly visible, and the rest, probably your imagination, or hidden behind no trespassing signs. And that's the real key to this legend, because in this story, the only thing you might actually find is trouble.
I don't want to go past Gate 5.
I don't want to go past Gate 1.
No.
I don't fucks with that shit. That's like the stairways that lead to no... I don't fucks with that shit. I am... No. And y'all are dumb.
No.
With respect.
Respectfully, y'all are dumb.
Respectfully, I'm too lazy to go gallivanting in the woods, walking through some random ass gates.
If y'all are into the Conjuring movies, yes. Okay, cool. This story might sound familiar, and there is a new Conjuring movie coming out.
The Conjuring's Last Rites, releasing September 5th.
Thank you. A word from our sponsors.
Fuck, I wish. Yeah. Warner Brothers, hit us up.
Yeah. Also, if you didn't listen to the last episode or the other episodes, we're going to Maine in about a month, and we're going to a paranormal expo where we actually get to meet the one and only Annabelle. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I don't know how we feel about that. Yeah, I'm quite terrified. We have a 30-minute window
with both Annabelles. So the Annabelle and then screen-used Annabelle.
Yeah. Utmost respect for the doll and for the entity with the doll. Please, I do not want to ever be haunted, followed, cursed, nothing. I just want to see it. This next place, West Pittston, Pennsylvania. August of 1973, Jack and Janet Smurl, a devout Catholic couple, moved into a duplex with their young daughters. They shared the home with Jack's parents in the adjoining unit. At first, life was ordinary until over the next few years, strange things occurred. It began with small annoyances. Doors swung open on their own. Doors and drawers rattled. A foul, mildew-like stench filled the air at random. Beloved family dog, Simon reportedly howled, then flew across the room, slammed into a wall by an unseen force. Don't fucks with our animals. That's so sad. I don't like it. Objects vanished, reappeared, then moved again. As the activity escalated, it became physically aggressive. One of the twin daughters was pushed down a flight of stairs. Jack himself claimed to be attacked and even sexually assaulted by a demonic entity. I believe they call them succubuses.
Succubuses, yeah. Succubi.
Yep. At times, Janet felt unseen fingers scratch and grip her skin. Desperate, the family went public, appearing on national programs like Larry King Live. Their story drew widespread media attention, which in turn drew the attention of paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren in 1986.
Small blip.
Yep.
We do have an entire episode over Ed and Lorraine Warren as well that we can link.
We'll link over here this time. Boop, boop, above her head. Click it. Go watch it. You'll like it. After years of torment and a few unsuccessful exorcisms by priests, a local pastor reportedly succeeding in ending the worst of the activity through intense prayer in late 1986. The Smurls moved away in 1988. Janet said that the occasional shadows and knocking persisted, but physical violence faded. I'm pretty sure this was the same thing that kept coming through the daughter, like speaking. We just talked about that.
In the Ed and Lorraine one, yeah.
Yeah. Those skeptics like philosopher Paul Kurtz dismissed the case as hallucination. Odd be. Delusion or psychological stress. For believers, it remains one of the most compelling haunting cases ever recorded. A family terrorized for years, 4 spirits dwelling in the house, including a demon harnessing the other 3, and a struggle that touched national consciousness. Sperl passed away in 2017. One of their daughters, Karen, now works in paranormal investigation, often citing her family's suffering and lack of help as the reason she felt called towards this path.
Which makes a lot of sense doing that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because Ed and Lorraine's son-in-law is in charge of Nestbar, and although their daughter doesn't want anything to do with it. Can't blame her, though. But
I feel like it's either you go into it because you've experienced it, or you want nothing to do with it because you've experienced it.
Yep. But yeah.
So that's the Smurl haunting.
Just a brief little
blip
about it.
Oh. I've taken you through the woods in York County, but now I'm going to take you to a shadowy small town in York County. Okay. We're just going to have to go to York County.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
So there is a town called Hex Hollow.
I'd live there. That sounds cute. Oh.
It is a place where old world superstition, fear, and tragedy collided in the darkest way imaginable.
Never mind.
This isn't just a ghost story. It is a tale of witchcraft accusations, because Salem is not the only place with witches, a fatal curse, and a murder that still haunts the land nearly a century later.
Damn.
Hex Hollow isn't an urban playground. It is in the middle of nowhere, quiet, and steeped in folklore. The story centers around Nelson Raymeyer, a man born in the late 1800s, who was locally known as the Hex Doctor. A hex doctor is someone who practices folk magic, healing, protective charms, or curses, deeply rooted in Pennsylvania Dutch traditions brought over from Europe. Many in the community feared him, seeing his work for dangerous witchcraft. In 1928, things took a dark turn. A local family believed they were suffering under a powerful curse cast by Raymeyer. Desperation and superstition pushed them to act. A group of men, some say family members, broke into Nelson's farmhouse under the cover of night, intent on destroying his spellbook and breaking the curse.
That's not a good idea.
What happens next is tragic. In the chaos, Nelson was beaten to death.
Oh.
But the story doesn't just end with the murder. According to legend, the curse stayed or perhaps even grew stronger. Locals began reporting strange, terrifying phenomena near the old Raymeyer property. Unexplained noises like footsteps, whispers, and door slamming, objects moving on their own, chairs rocking, tools disappearing and then reappearing, and shadowy figures lurking near the woods, sometimes seen from the tree line.
No.
Some say the land itself is cursed, an imprint of the violence and the fear that unfolded there. The Raymeyer murder became a sensational story across Pennsylvania, fueling tales of witchcraft and supernatural vengeance, inspired books, articles, and even local ghost tours. Even decades later, the Hex Hollow name carries a weight in the paranormal community. Some investigators claim they've captured EVPs. Others speak of an overwhelming feeling of dread whenever they visit the area. Hex Hollow is a haunting reminder of how superstition and fear can twist something into something deadly. It is less about spirits and more about human darkness, the way we can turn on one another when gripped by panic and belief in curses. So if you find yourself near York City, remember, York County, remember. Some places hold more than just stories. They are echoes of the past that refuse to be forgotten. Also, I think that's something that's so baffling to me, that all it takes is one thing and suddenly there's whether it's a family or a town, something turns them against you, and then suddenly they're going to act out. There's going to be this tragedy, and then now it becomes a legend.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine.
I feel like that's how most legends come to be, though.
Well, that's like, and this is a movie. And if you don't know this movie, I'm sorry, but you need to watch it. Candyman, the original, not the new one. The legend was that he was I want to say a slave, and he fell in love with the white daughter and got her pregnant, and then the dad killed him, chopped his hand off, put a hook there, and then he got eaten by bees or some shit. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie. But, like,
wow.
He did the thing. They didn't approve. They attack.
And then he became a legend. Wow.
Or, what is it? Bloody Mary.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that also might be how, like, La
Lorana.
Her. Two Girls, One Ghost recently talked about, so it was like the Axeman at something. I don't know.
Was it New Orleans? Because I was going to say, we just talked about the Axeman in New Orleans. The hash-singing slasher.
Yeah, no, they talked about somebody. It was something very similar. Something happened with one person, and he became like a whole story came about, and how that road was haunted and all this other kinds of stuff. And there was like this murderous thing that was down there, and I'm pretty sure that it was called an Axeman too. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. But yeah, it was from people being scared of certain things, and then it just creates a whole entire.
Did you hear what legend I said?
What?
The hash singing slasher.
The hash singing, the swash swinging, the hash swinging slasher. I heard you.
You were just ignoring me.
No.
She doesn't like me.
I heard you. The hash swinging slasher. But my brain was already on a train,
fair.
track, and I had to get it out.
That's acceptable. I accept that.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
If it ever seems like I'm ignoring her, I am not.
Or if it ever seems like she's interrupting me on purpose, she doesn't mean to.
No. Although I do think I have not done that as much.
You have gotten a lot better. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah. Do you have something you would like to say, sir?
Chewy, we'd like to hear your input.
Yay! That was not forced at all. Anyway.
Wow. Well, if this episode didn't convince you to keep your Ouija boards locked up and your salt lines drawn, I don't know what will.
Pennsylvania. Come for the history, stay for the hauntings, because something just might follow you home.
From cursed forests to echoing prisons and misty roads to battlefield ghosts, we've officially crossed the line from weird to full-on what the fuck.
And we wouldn't have it any other way.
Until next time, keep your EMF readers charged and your third eye open.
Mm-hmm. And you've been listening to the Afterlife Hotline. Bye, guys!